Hello, my little ponies. Welcome back to Pony Island, and this is the last real challenge for the semester, for the summer session, I should say. We are leaving Magma Rock's cave with our fancy new golden gun, and the last challenge is oh, that's right. We don't have a quest for this yet. The last challenge is to defeat the logic puzzles in Fort Blocks. So from the Magma Rock cave, we're going to go down the road. And again, I don't know why I'm not going to follow the road. You guys have been playing this game for like 8 weeks. You should know it well enough. There's maps to help you. So I'm going to take the shortcut across the water back towards the unbearable woods. There's the gold farm. There's the unbearable woods right over there. Here is the Pony Express station for the unbearable woods, where I was hiding out almost that entire video series. And we're heading back towards town. This is the road that goes towards town. Hey, rat. That's what you get for being a rat. Hey, rat. That's what you get for that other rat being a rat. Bang. Bang. All right, so town is right there. See the buildings. There's this cave right here that's on the road between the town and the unbearable woods. This is Fort Blocks, and if we enter Fort Blocks, we get a quest. Blocky's Revenge, solve the puzzles in Fort Blocks. So, we shall. When we first enter, we are greeted with a closed door. We can see that there is some kind of mechanism here. There is a button on the end of the mechanism. These are logic gates, right? So we have an input. We have, here is our output. The door requires output, essentially a Boolean true, to open, all right? This in the middle is a logic gate, right? So what happens when we push the button? It should put power to our input. It'll travel along the rail, and then depending on the logic of the gate, it will do whatever it does with that input, and in this case, it will invert it. So if we press the button, we can see the power goes on, it reaches this, it inverts it, which means power off here, power on here. We have a 1 at the output, and so the door opens. Now that's obviously very simple. It gets a little bit more complicated. So here we have 2 inputs. Here we have our logic gate, and then here we have our output, and I believe that this is an AND gate. So if I turn on just one rail, one side has power, one side does not. This being an AND gate does not, means it's false. And now that they're both on, its output is 1, and we're ready to go. These puzzles are not terribly difficult. You can probably get them just by kind of randomly hitting buttons. Oh, right. I should probably explain what this is. So here we have a different shaped gate. This is is it a NAND gate? I can never recall every time. Every time I try this, I always try to remember what they're called, but I can't always remember. But it's not that difficult to figure out if we just, yeah, there we go. So a NAND gate and then inverted, right? So we get our output. And then there's one more that you can solve essentially by hand, if you will. Excuse me. You get the achievement. It's quite logical for solving these very easy puzzles, or I should say relatively easy puzzles at the beginning. But the actual flag for the challenge is through this room here, where we have a much, much more complicated puzzle, but it works along the same principles displayed in the rooms previously. So we have inputs. In this case, we have 32. That's 32 ones or zeros, so this is a 32-bit logic puzzle. We have a walkway, and we can kind of survey the scale of all of this. And if you wanted to, we could map each of these out. And as a matter of fact, I think, if I remember correctly, that is what I did last summer, is I walked through and I looked at every intersection. Excuse me. I looked at every intersection to map out the knots and the ands and the nans and the ors and the zors and so on, to eventually crunch down to a sequence that all ends up here. I'm pretty sure that's how I figured it out last summer. I might have used some software to assist me. I'm going to have to go back to that video and find out. But it works along the same lines. You basically go through a series of gates after 32 bits of input and eventually come to one output, which must, of course, be Boolean true for the doors to open. The chest for the puzzle is in this room, obviously, hidden behind the door. Now, I don't know why my throat's so dry. Listen. Now, one thing I can tell you is last summer, I do definitely recall that I was super cheeky and I was like, well, screw it, I'll just teleport into the room and open the chest. And so I did. But much like the other chests, it's not that simple. There is an is-use function somewhere that isn't triggered until that equals 1. That said, maybe we can attack that function. I don't know. And I don't know what I'm going to do about this summer yet. The easiest thing to do would be to figure out what I did last summer and redo it, but I'm trying to find new ways to do things this summer, so I'm going to have to think on this a little bit, and I kind of don't have a lot of other ideas other than trying to trigger that function to allow the chest to be openable, or like set the quest condition to true just so I can just move forward. I'm going to have to get back to you on part 2 for exactly what I'm going to do there. So we will see you on part 2 when I have at least more of an idea of what I want to do and have hopefully made some progress on how exactly I'm going to do it. But I can tell you I'm going to start by searching through Ghidra for Blocky. All right, see you then.